My mom and my mother-in-law threw me a surprise baby shower on Sunday and invited all of my family and most of my friends who are in my hometown. It was great. I don't usually get to see everyone when I visit, so it was really nice to have them all there. My sister is also pregnant. She is 34 weeks and I am 36 weeks. My mom and I have been planning her baby shower with her that will be 2 weeks from now. At the shower, everyone kept complimenting me on how tiny I am and how good I look, and I could see my sister was getting really jealous. It was really upsetting her, so I tried to change the topic. But after the first little bit, she retreated to a table in the corner with her friend, looking incredibly angry. I tried to ignore it, and we started playing shower games. Later, her friend asked if any of us knew where she was, since she hadn't seen her in a while. Everyone was extremely worried because she wasn't answering her phone, and we thought she could have gone into labor or fallen or something terrible. The shower was in a party room at an arena, so it's a huge building, and everyone there, 70 of us, began searching the entire place, up and down, looking for her. Many people got into their cars to drive around the area and the different routes to the hospital to see if they saw her car. We also called her husband to see if he had heard from her, and he left work to help look. My other sister found her sulking inside a Timmy's. She refused to come back to the shower because she was upset that she wasn't getting any attention, and everyone was fawning over me. It took a while for everyone who left to get back, and while we tried to carry on with the shower, the whole mood was soured, and it was really awkward. I'm so upset with her now. I suspect once the baby comes, I won't go down to my hometown as much, and I won't get to see many of those people as often as I did before. So that was my last chance to get together with everyone before the baby. It's not even the first time she's done something like this. At my wedding, she complained to anyone who was willing to listen about how my husband is very touchy-feely with me. And now, whenever he touches me in any way in front of her, she'll grumble and roll her eyes like she is upset that he is attracted to me or something. He dropped me off at the shower, and when we were talking to friends, he was standing behind me holding my belly, and she said, "That's disgusting," and made a gagging noise. She also won't show up to something unless someone has called her to ask where she is and tell her we're waiting for her. It's a little game that she likes to play. I don't know what her problem is, but I'm so sick of it. She hasn't spoken to me since the incident and won't return my calls or texts, but I think she owes me an apology. If she can't apologize, I don't think I want to continue to plan and pay for her baby shower. Is that fair? My mom and my aunt think I just need to try to move past it because that's just how she is. My husband feels differently, and he thinks I should stop doing anything for her because she continuously disrespects us and our marriage. I initially thought that maybe she did that because she's also pregnant and her hormones are going crazy. But honestly, just sounds like she's an attention seeker. Because of this, I don't think she's going to apologize. Why should she get attention at your shower? It's not like you got a shower and she wasn't going to get one. That's just ridiculous. It doesn't matter if that's just how she is. It's not acceptable, and it sounds like it has happened repeatedly throughout the years. I agree with your husband. Clearly, you try to do things for her, and she's just going around playing games and trying to get everyone to focus on her, even if it's not her event. I don't see why you have to bother planning and paying for her shower when she hasn't shown you any respect when it is an event about you. My name is Tom, and my husband's name is Victor. We live in Western Europe and have been dating for 25 years, married for 10. 14 years ago, I signed up to become a foster parent together with my then boyfriend, Victor. The first and only child we had was Jacob. He was 2.5 when we first met him. Jacob's mom was not able to take care of him, and from his dad, we did not hear a lot. It seemed to me that Jacob's dad had left his mother for another woman, and that it hurt his mom a lot, which made her decide to give him up for foster care. Not only that, but her new boyfriend was violent and had debts. So we took care of Jacob. He would stay with us during the week. On Wednesday afternoon, his mom would come, and on Saturday, he would go to her place for the day, on the condition that her boyfriend was not around. For the first 6 months, this worked great, but then she started to not show up. On memory, I vividly recall him waiting for her on his birthday and her not showing up. A year later, we got the call she wanted Jacob back. After all the formalities and administrative procedures, and with pain in our heart, we took his stuff, put it in a bag, and let him go with her. No joke, an hour later she was back on our driveway. Jacob had started crying, and she could not take it. She gave him to us and just left. 5 years later, we started the procedure to adopt him, and he is now legally our son. We have been in contact with Jacob's maternal grandmother, a very nice and kind lady. She has been giving us more info about the parents. Jacob's mom had been crazy in love with her boss, who was married. They started an affair, and she tried to get pregnant to make him stay with her. When he discovered her pregnancy, he told her he was willing to be there for the child and divorce his wife, but by no means did he want to date her. The father did divorce his wife. He did tell her he made a mistake by cheating on her, but that he wanted to get to know his son. Apparently, the man had a daughter with his first wife or something, but she died when he was 10, resulting in him being very emotional when he heard he was being a dad again. Jacob's mom left the country, gave birth in that country, and never let Jacob's dad know anything about him. The only reason she came back was because she had met her then boyfriend who was abusive, resulting in Jacob being in foster care. As a mother, she has never been there for him. No cards, no presents, no visits, despite us telling her, after the adoption, that our door will always be open. Jacob just turned 17, and his dad would like to be in contact with him. Jacob knows this, and he has told us that he would like us to talk with his dad first, to see what kind of man he is. We have met him several times, and he has been more than polite and kind with us. He has not been pushing Jacob or us to be in contact with him, and has said that he only wants things to do with Jacob's interest at heart. On to the issue. Jacob's mom has discovered that her ex has been in contact with us. She has been going crazy. Her social media is full of hate towards us, how we stole her baby, how she is indeed a good mother, and how two men would never be good parents. She has been mean towards her mother, who she has not seen in 10 years, and has been showing up at Jacob's dad's place to harass him and ask him our new address. Luckily, he did not give in. She has been at Jacob's school, has tried to reach out to us and him through social media. We have been to the police, have had talks with the school. Everything is safe. But we need to address this to Jacob. How do we explain what happened to our son? How do we stay respectful towards his mom? I just wanted to say that the fact that this woman can cause such grief for you, going as far as to cast aspersions on the quality of your parenting on the basis of the gender of the parents, while you still want to be respectful towards her, is pretty incredible. I don't know of many people who would show the same tact as you are currently. On to the issue at hand. I think a long, honest sit-down with your son is probably in order, and I'm sure she will eventually lose interest. The fact that Jacob was wary of his bio dad and trusted you both to check him out before he was more involved in his life speaks to his wisdom for his age, but also for his trust in you. I was 17 not long ago, and honestly, being treated like an adult meant a lot to me. Keep that in mind and you'll be fine. You sound like amazing people and parents. My relationship with my dad has always been pitiful. He cheated on my mom when I was 2, and when he was found out, he just ran away. I ended up seeing him every Friday, but a lot of the time he wouldn't show up. He gets a new girlfriend every couple of months, treats them like his blood, and expects me to play happy families with him. He was never there for me as a child. He always chose his new family over his blood. If he did pick me up, it was usually hours late and would yell at me if his newest lady's kid did something wrong. Seriously. There was one instance where I sat in the living room with him, and he shouted at me because his girlfriend's devil sperm managed to spill Pepsi all over the kitchen floor. He could never shout at their kid, just me and my sister. I recently found out that my dad never paid for child support for either me or my sister when he left my mom. He owes upwards of $20,000 to my mom. I must also stress my family no longer has contact with my sister. TLDR, she went AWOL. I also must stress that my mom has never dissed my dad to me. She even told me she let me find out all the bad things about him because it would be unfair to slate him to me. Very fair, I think. I wouldn't speak to my dad at all, I reckon, if it wasn't for my granddad. He's seriously amazing. He recently lost his job due to a work injury and lost his case against them. He's been very down about it. I'm going to university this summer and I cannot wait. My mom, stepdad, uncle, grandparents, and a few others have helped out financially, which I cannot thank them enough for. I have never asked them to help out, and for me, starting university rather late, it really means a lot. My dad keeps telling my mom he will help out, but always says he's skint. That's understandable. He's got no job. He keeps reminding us when he gets some money, he'll help out instantly. Here's where things get a little weird. He rang me up a month ago and invited me to go on holiday with him. I never knew about this holiday, and it was 2 weeks away. I never cry, but this call almost made me, because the longer the call went on, The more apparent it became that he only wanted me to drive down to take luggage because he didn't have enough space in his car. In the end, he just flat out asked me, "Can you just drive down at least? I don't have enough space in my car for all their stuff." And it really upset me. Tell me if I'm seeing this completely wrong, but I felt like I was just being used. He told me that he didn't even have a room for me, but the lounge room had a sofa I could sleep on. What did he do? He bought a new car, a 7-seater, just for that holiday. He kept the holiday a secret to me until that point. I then found out from my grandparents he's now bought his new lady a car. A bit weird, but okay. Maybe he sold something or it was cheap. Moving on, and I find out he's paid for his new lady and her whole family to travel for a fortnight. He's also bought her daughter a car too. He's got a new drum kit too, worth several thousand, and this was when I decided it was enough. For a guy who told me and my mom he's struggling to find money so he can eat, this is off. My mom has asked again and again if he's willing to contribute, and he gives the same answer. Yes, but I have no money. It's not the money that's the problem here. It's just the shadiness of him. I could post more threads about my dad, but I want to focus on the current problem. Here's just a short few bullet points on some previous incidents with him. If you want to know any more about them, just ask. We found out he has had up to 4 other children. Me and my sister only found out we had an older brother and sister when I was 16, and that was through a friend of his. We don't know about the others. His parents don't know about any other children. He's never supportive. I recently released some music, and he just doesn't like it and wouldn't listen to it in the car anytime. That's okay, not everybody is going to like it, but there's no constructive criticism. He just flat out says it's bad. He ruined my 21st birthday. I went for a meal with my family, and he shows up with his new girlfriend who wasn't invited. We get along, but he found out my car had broke down. He blamed me for it, despite the fact that a mechanic friend of our family thought he had fixed it. He wouldn't let it go. He was sat next to me and kept turning to me and having a go at me quietly about it and calling me a moron, a D-head, and an idiot. This went on all night. It was sly digs too, like, "Don't forget to order your food like you did to fix your car." Insert insult here. I told him how I felt about this incident, and we've really not been the same since. That did make me cry. I constantly feel like that son he has to see. I mean, how am I any different to the other kids he's just essentially ditched? If I was never introduced to his parents, would they even found out about me? I just can't get on with him at all, and I think I want to cut him completely out of my life. I want to know how I should approach him. It would be awkward to cut contact with him because often he's at my grandparents, and I love them to bits. Also, I left a lot of issues with him under the rug when I was young. A lot of those issues are still bothering me today. I mean, when I go to see him, he always had the football on. It'd be a taped match if it has to be, but just falls asleep, shuts down any conversation I try to have, and we sit in silence. It's great when he's not there and it's just my granddad. However, when his newest mistress is over, oh good God, he won't shut up. Everything is so jolly, and here's the son he's so proud of. Any advice here would be great. Your dad's an a-hole. I would cut contact with him completely and make it clear that you want nothing from him, and you will also not be doing anything for him. If you have to see him sometimes because of your grandparents, that blows. But if that's the only thing, then maybe you can deal with it. Do not ever feel guilty about this. The man clearly doesn't give 2 craps about you, and you are well within your rights to adopt the same attitude. Am I in the wrong for feeling like this isn't okay? My husband is enmeshed in his family. He's like his sister's and mother's surrogate husband. Mother-in-law's husband, their dad, is a deadbeat and not really a factor in their lives, except for money. Mother-in-law can't afford to be divorced, but he does not come home. Sister-in-law's boyfriend has been in the picture for years, but because sister-in-law hates marriage, she is perfectly content with leaving things as they are, where she helps with his business, but he does nothing except shoe her horses. Dear husband sends money home every time a bill needs paid and when his mom asks, and has put tens of thousands of dollars on rebuilding sister-in-law's truck so that they can sell the truck that he co-signed for because sister-in-law's credit was bad. We've been married almost 2 years, been together on and off for almost 7. Our relationship is decent at best and tumultuous at worst, especially when it comes to his family. I don't have a healthy mindset of what a family looks like because of my own family struggles, but this is getting to be too much. He says that this is completely normal for families that are super close to each other, to be able to help each other out with finances and live pretty much on the same property. When he talks about it with them, it's always we, with exclusions of me in that conversation. Case in point, he wants to buy the land that his mom has been renting for years so that we all live on the same plot. And while not living in the same houses, it's not a far stretch for him to have thought he would always be living with them. A cultural note. We are from technically a border state that sides itself to the south. Think chicken. He blames me and my behavior for how his family had treated me when we lived with them for a short time. While I wasn't the greatest, they certainly could have done things better to make me feel more welcomed into the family. They wouldn't say a word to me when we got married. This has caused so many arguments and things I'm not proud in saying, but I'm sure he doesn't have any confidence in this marriage. In this instance, I found out that he's put his sister down as a beneficiary for work benefits at his latest job. I set up the benefits for his last job, with me being primary beneficiary, with 100%. He comes through it a few months later and changes it to having 50-50 split between me and her. I imagine this split is the same, but this time he didn't even tell me. I had to find out about it. Why is it okay in his mind to think about taking care of his sister, who is going to be in her 30s soon, and not his wife too? Or thinking he can take care of both at the same time? My mind is just blown. It's just always something between the two of them. And he's like, she's my best friend, has been my whole life. Well, what's the point in being married to me? I guess I need validation or something in thinking that this isn't okay to do to your spouse when you exchange vows. He should marry his sister then, and let you go find a real husband.